Adventures of Irvingman. The Royal Order of Water Buffaloes was forced to disband when some of their members were caught wearing blackface.
I ought to have my head examined. That sister of mine's crazy enough. I have to send Olsen to Haiti with her. Two irresponsible nuts. A fine pair.
The Haitian officials can't find a trace of him?
Nothing.
Perry's sister sent that bit of film back before she disappeared somewhere in the jungles of Haiti, with Jimmy Olsen, as you heard.
Chief, suppose I fly down there and just take a look around.
It's a good idea. I have 2 tickets on the midnight Pan Am Clipper.
2?
Yes, I'm going with you.
You misunderstand, Chief. Clark doesn't need a ticket.
Well, now, Chief, you don't have to make the trip. In fact, I'll do much better alone.
I think I can make my own decisions alone.
That's just what I'm afraid of.
What?
Oh, nothing, Chief, nothing.
But since he doesn't have a choice, this one time he'll do it the slow way. They arrive, and within minutes, the drums have alerted every local on the island that 2 white men are talking to the gendarmes and wanting to go into the jungle. Before they know it, they have a guide.
I'm Dr. Leland Masters. You're Miss White's brother, I take it.
I am?
Strong family resemblance. Cranial structure very similar. Anthropologist, I notice these things.
This is Mr. Kent. Bergeret told me about him. He's the Englishman who's familiar with the bush country.
Ought to be. Spent the last 8 years tramping through it, measuring skulls. Ethnology. Tiresome work. Don't know why I ever took it up.
I'm going to say racism, specifically superiority of the white race. If you're doing ethnology in 1952, you're either trying to prove it or disprove it. Since you're English, it could go either way. Clark manages to slip away and change to Superman, then flies into the jungle where he locates Perry's sister.
Mademoiselle White, you would like me to remove those heavy iron chains from your wrist? You still think they are made of paper? They are not made of paper. They are made of heavy iron. Heavy iron.
Except they are paper, and he's done something to her head. He wants to know what she learned in some secret corridor where he found her, but the drugs or whatever have scrambled her brain and she can't remember. He's determined to keep her locked up until she does.
Miss White,
Yes?
those chains on your wrist, they're only paper. You can break them.
No. They're made of iron.
They're only paper. I'll break them for you.
No. Only Legbo can break these chains. If anyone else breaks them, I will die.
Instead of trying to convince her that they're paper, why doesn't Superman just say, okay, they're iron. You know that's not a problem for me. Ding. But whatever Legbo has done to her has her way far gone. Jim is in another part of the cave.
They got you too, huh, Jim?
Superman!
You all right?
Sure, but golly, how did you ever find me?
Never mind about that now. What's happened to Miss White?
She drank some tea at Bergeret's house.
Tea?
Yeah. I didn't drink any. I don't know whether Mr. Johnson or Dr. Masters drank any.
They were there at Bergeret's place?
Yeah, I know Miss White drank some because I saw her.
When he saw what happened to her, he pretended to be drugged so he could keep an eye on her until he found a way to help.
Of what hidden things did the woman take pictures?
I don't know.
You know.
I don't know.
When you find the secret passage to Christophe's treasure, I will remove this iron chain.
Yes.
Now we know what Legbo is after. Perry's sister must have stumbled onto the operation. Superman says, keep doing what you're doing, I'll be back soon. Fortunately, he had his super hearing turned off, so he didn't hear Jimmy's response. Perry and Clark had another visitor earlier, an American named Johnson. He left some kind of cloth behind that has Clark's attention. Clark begs off the trip into the jungle, and Monsieur Barboyer takes him to the lab to have it analyzed. While Clark is waiting, Perry is doing what he does best.
This trail is closed.
What do you mean closed?
That is a voodoo loco anger.
So what?
To cross over one of them is supposed to mean death.
Of all the ridiculous things. That's what I think of voodoo.
Don't move.
What the?
Get your hands up.
Being rude and obnoxious and getting in the way. I understand he was delicious, though. The meat was very tender, obviously not accustomed to hard work. They're taken before the Grand Poobah.
Kate! Kate, it's me, Perry. Kate, don't you recognize me?
Get in there.
Kate!
So you knew it was only paper? Jetez-le là.
Bad move, Jimmy. It's a good idea to keep your element of surprise until it's most effective. That wasn't it.
I only know that when I gave him the result of the analysis, he seemed very excited and left at once, asking me to tell you that he had to return to Cape Haitian immediately.
He did not say how he proposed to do so. He flies back all excited.
I had no reason for taking pictures in the lower corridors, except for photographic interest. I didn't see any secret doors.
I'm not convinced that you're telling the truth.
Why shouldn't she? She's not in any position to do anything with the information if she does know something, so she has no reason to lie.
So?
What are you going to do?
I'm going to use this organ for the same purpose that Henri Christophe used it.
Now she really has no reason to lie, so if she's saying she doesn't know, dude. Hey guys, you know how those chains were paper? Yeah, those bars are just big rubber noodles. You could have gotten out of there any time.
Where's Dr. Masters?
Locked behind that stone wall.
You know, you could just pull that ring and open the door.
Who are you?
That's Superman.
I always thought you were only a legend.
Legbo, he's getting away!
All that's left is the big reveal. Who is this Legbo character?
Now watch. It's Johnson!
The whole voodoo thing was a ruse while he was trying to find some legendary treasure.
But why did you think I knew anything about the treasure? Why?
I saw you snooping around the citadel with a camera.
My sister happens to be a photographer, and you can't take photographs without a camera.
Harry, don't lose your temper.
Lose my temper, almost lost my life over this imbecile.
This one time I say, bring it on, Perry. Let's see what you got for this guy. We won't see what he's got for this guy. Later, they're all unwinding when Clark comes in.
Where have you been?
Port-au-Prince.
Port-au-Prince, eh?
So what was on that cloth that got you so excited?
We came close to being crushed to death. We'd have all been killed if it hadn't have been for Superman.
Really? Golly, you've never seen anything like it. The walls were closing in, and we would have all been crushed.
But, Monsieur Kent, how did you get back here so quickly?
I flew.
They're not going to tell us? That's it? We just get left hanging? We're supposed to infer somewhere along the way that what he found on the handkerchief was some of the blackface that Johnson was using. I sorted that out the third time I watched it. There's subtle and then there's hiding it under the rug. It's not hard to tell that these stories were made for a very different audience than we have today. Pacing is much slower. We spend a lot more time doing things like an extended conversation with the lab guy and then a stretch where we watch Clark pace around and wait. You couldn't get away with that today, especially with dialogue at a minimum. We'll spend 5 to 10 seconds watching Superman run and take off, fly and land just so he can travel 3 blocks. I'm not exaggerating, it happens. If a family today watched this, halfway through the sequence, the kids would be in the kitchen looking for a snack, and the parents would be arguing over who gets the bathroom first. I don't know if it really was a slower pace of life or not, but it felt like it. Maybe media practices like these slower paced shows helped us give that impression, or illusion if you prefer. And considering the overall mental state of the country today, maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea for the media and especially TV to start slowing things down, watch these old hits and learn from them, and help us all pause, catch our breath, and say, hey, what's really important here? Because if we stay at this breakneck pace, there's a good chance we'll miss the answer. Until next time. Video by Harry Harrison. Audio by Morris Morrison. Wardrobe and makeup by Alice Allison. Your announcer has been Peter Peterson.